Good afternoon, Helldivers. We've got yet another patch coming in right before the Force of Law Warbond with some major changes to the stealth detection system, some game balancing, weapon balancing, and nerfs to Leviathan lethality. Not a ton of overall changes, mind you, but maybe just enough I thought I might as well give you my take on them. So let's get into things. Starting off, a pretty sizable change to our survivability. You can now stim yourself while in the middle of diving animations. This was previously not authorized due to being categorized in the same risk zone as running with scissors and juggling live grenades. But following an update to the SEAF Combat Mobility Safety Guidelines, you can now get even more squirrely with your last gasps and epic survivor moments as you dip, dive, duck, and dodge your way through the battlefield, hopped up on super ketamine. As we talked about in the previous What Comes Next video, mega city operations were set to come for both the other existing factions that would generate greater amounts of liberation compared to standard Defend the Planet ones. This change has begun to roll out undocumented by the patch notes. You can now get in game and begin to defend our megacities from the Terminid invasion, the most important of which being the invasion of Alta 5, which will be falling first if we do not intervene. If you'd like to keep up with the operational orders the Ghost Divers platoon used to keep organized when it comes to our directive in the Galactic War, be sure to hop into the Discord and check out our Galactic War Planning channel where we discuss our plans, as well as the Operational Orders channel itself, which sends out regular messages keeping our almost 10,000 Helldivers unified and on task. We only have one primary weapon change, and if you guessed it was for the R2 amendment due to the Master of Ceremony Warbond backlash, you'd be right. But if you guessed it was being changed to medium pen, you'd be wrong. Instead, the rifle is now among the most ergonomic when it comes to the marksman weapon class at 50 points. But no other changes of yet have been made, and no further customization has been implemented. The P2 Peacemaker, the default sidearm of Helldivers 2, has had a bit of a glow up in an attempt to make it remotely desirable compared to its big brother, the Pocket Uzi, with its magazine count being raised from 6 to 8, damage increased from 75 to 85, and durable damage from 15 to 25. It's still extremely unlikely anyone will be using the sidearm past their first few dives unless they go the extra mile when implementing sidearm customization later on in the future and give it a suppressor option. But it's nice that they're trying. We got a couple armor passive changes for the least used armor passives in the game, both integrated explosives from the Servant of Freedom Warbond and unflinching from the Face the Wall, Truth Enforcer's Warbond. Integrated explosive armor now also ships you out with 2 extra spare grenades, while unflinching got a pretty significant facelift, now not only granting flinch resistance, but now 25 extra armor and radar ping utility similar to the stealth armor sets. Not a top tier passive, but at least useful following this change. We got a big change to the detection and stealth system, one of the only times that I can remember Arrowhead actually directly mentioning stealth in the patch notes for that matter. Previously, Stalker and Shrieker layers, as well as gunship fabricators, would instantly send enemies at your exact geological position the very moment you stepped within. Well, the patch says 200 meters, but it was 160 meters. At least for the gunships, that much I know for sure. This is no longer the case, though. These spawners will only activate when you've already been detected as a target within their range, making it now possible to more reliably sneak up on these would be annoyances and take them out without it becoming a brawl. Now, if only the Stingray could receive the same change, we'd be in business, as they have your exact location pinged on their Google Maps the moment they spawn, causing them to immediately engage any Helldiver on the map, regardless of them being in an engagement or not. If you're watching this Arrowhead, you missed one, or at least you missed one in the patch notes. I'll have to dive in this evening and see if Stingrays received this change as well. As a result of this change, though, Automaton Fabricators will also now spawn enemies more consistently than before, ensuring smoother pacing and engagement balance. Well, that's what it says anyway, whatever that means. The takedown overship mission for the squids now has the planetary defense cannon do much more damage to Leviathans, something that was very disappointing for us on the first day of Super Earth's defense. Now, I'm sure we weren't the only ones that wanted to use the orbital cannon to hunt Leviathans, so it's nice that they've resolved it shooting 22 caliber rounds. You can't just give us a giant space cannon and expect us to not immediately try to shoot unintended targets with it after all. Harvester body armor has been rebalanced, causing them to be more easily destructible using anti tank weaponry. The notes don't go into detail too much on this subject, but I imagine the plating no longer soaks all the damage from individual hits, making them more susceptible to large singular bursts of damage. This is good news for the entire anti tank class, and especially the Wasp, which has been growing in popularity ever since the addition of the Fleshmound and Stingray, thanks to its great coverage against these new foes. With this new change, I'm thinking this weapon will also be significantly more effective against the Harvester as well, but we'll have to get in game and see for ourselves to see if I'm right. Overseer spawn rates on the invasion mission have been reduced, which makes sense considering playing this mission spawned more jetpack boys than any of us had ever seen, and it wasn't close. So clearly, something about their spawn rate had gone pretty haywire. As dramatic and challenging as it made this mission, I think this was a change we all saw coming. Beyond this change, Overseers will now be spawning from landed dropships at outposts, making them much more dangerous to engage than they were previously. Remember, an orbital laser is likely to remove any squid base in its entirety in one single application, no further fuss needed. Leviathan projectile damage has been altered from 1500 and is now only 350. While this still plenty pastes any Helldiver caught in the blast, this now ensures your FRVs and mechs will not be instantly splattered by the Sky Whale. This won't make you any less of an easy target for its multiple cannons, though, so you'll still need to answer it quickly or break line of sight near instantly to see any real difference in survivability. This next one is a patch aimed at stopping Spirit Sparklers from the Master of Ceremony Warbond from destroying Factory Striders through their feet. The notes say it's to stop the recoilless rifle from one-shotting them to the feet, but we all know next to nobody was using the recoilless on Factory Strider feet, so I'm not sure why they were coy about this change. Either way, it'll now take more firepower to exploit the unarmored toes of the Factory Strider, which is fair enough, as the eye should realistically be the most vulnerable weak point in general, and not the unarmored feet of the walker. For mission fixes, they are once again claiming to have fixed issues with the seismic probe deployment and nuke nursery bomb deployment. We've probably seen a similar note to this 2 or 3 times now, so I can't say I'm going to let this one fool me. They've been trying to squash these bugs for probably half a year at this point, so we'll have to dive in and see for ourselves if these errors are still present or not. There are also some miscellaneous fixes, but nothing too terribly interesting. There's a mention of a fix for the lockstep emote causing sliding, but hopefully this hasn't affected the swag walk bug, which is probably the best happy accident they've added since the Snake Divers incident. That wraps up today's patch notes, but they've also added all the files and information on the back end for Tuesday's release of the Force of Law Warbond. That means I'll be dropping my before you buy video with all the details and playtesting information you'd like to know before committing your hard earned super credits the very moment the bond drops on the 12th. So, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and leave a comment so I know you're interested in my continued coverage. And if you'd like to be notified the second my Warbond video goes live, sub to the channel. Thank you for watching till the end, and thank you to my coffee supporters who help keep the channel going. I'll see you next time.